things are depicted. That's not the only source, though. Remember, the church in this time is the source of theater, drama, music. They were informal mime plays. If some of these players weren't allowed inside the church, they were mystery plays. There were, in other words, everything that the arts could do to explain the stories of the Bible. This was encouraged in every possible way. You can imagine what they did for Christmas. So the gestures and the poses that you're going to see in these images are drawn from the society itself. In other words, you can't separate these paintings from what people are seeing, probably how they're behaving themselves. So Mary's reactions to the angel coming, she's obviously surprised. Imagine how you would feel if you were visited by an angel, you would be pregnant, or single. She's surprised, she's troubled, she's frightened, she questions, if this is true, what's going to happen, and then an understanding that she has been chosen. She is humbled by this, and she is submissive, finally accepting. I was looking for a joyful Mary, and I think I found one. But most of them are in the process of understanding what it is to happen to her. Now, one of the earliest ones I found was this Anglo-Saxon manuscript. Can you appreciate her face? What? What is going to happen? So it's. But the other thing is the majority of the images I found have this submissive and accepting pose. And this is, of course, extremely important because Mary is the second Eve. And we all know what the first Eve did. The first Eve was not submissive. The first Eve did not follow orders. So some of the earlier depictions, and even the later ones itself, have the Annunciation coupled with the fall. Right? So in this manuscript, this is also Anglo-Saxon, you see Eve with the snake, should she do it? And she's taking the apple. Here's the angel, and Mary has this gesture of, wait a minute, what is going to happen? This is a little bit later, but you can see up here, Eve is here, Adam is here, here's the snake with the tree, with the apple, so that they're all bundled up into one picture itself. Mary, or Eve, is the reason for Mary. Adam and Eve, the fall, is the reason for the Annunciation, for the gift, a second chance. And the answer is yes, not a defiant, no, I'm going to eat the apple anyway. So their coupling is there. Later on, they still have those references, but they become less important. This is one of the more famous Annunciations. It's actually 14th century. Simone Martini is in Siena, and he was commissioned to do this altarpiece for the cathedral of Annuncius. Annuncius is right here. He's a martyr. He wasn't very famous outside of Siena, but Sienese, he was local. We think this is Margaret, and so the martyrs on the outside, this figure represents the cathedral itself, as well as the martyr. And here is the news. And the news is written in this high script across from connecting the angel to Mary. You can see the amount of gold, right? So the cathedral is the patron. The cathedral is saying to Simone Martini, this is what we want. And in bill of sale. This much gold will be used. This is what we want. And people could see the whole process starting right from the beginning. This is also the time when the Ave Maria prayer began, the Hail Mary prayer. I know you're all Protestants, you don't say Ave Maria, but in the 13th and 14th centuries, it was these kinds of altar pieces that encouraged this new prayer, which is of course based on what the angel is saying. So as a person says the Ave Maria, the Hail Mary, they are asking Mary to come to them, right? So it puts them into the story personally.
Is there a significance to not being pictured in that center circle?
I'm sorry, here?
No, up above.
Above, I don't know what that is. It could be, this is maybe slightly damaged, that would be maybe the hand that God, it would usually be God the Father as a hand or a dove. But here's the dove. So his face was probably there, my guess is.
Rhea, because there's other gentlemen.
Yes. Sorry?
In between the angel and Mary, there's a pot of lilies.
Right.
And in your prior slide, there was lilies in between them. Is that significant or a coincidence?
Very significant. It's not here. The lily, the white lily, just hold it a minute, is what could be purer than a white lily? White. And that is the sign of her Yes.
I just wondered if you knew what the Latin said down there at the bottom, or if anyone in the room who speaks Latin or reads it could something.
Lord, praise you. And I get loud and right.
That's one I got.
God in. I can't.
All my lips and my bones are full of praise and admiration.
And yes. All right, so this is, the lily is there. Also the palm is given. Sometimes they're put together. She's frightened. She's not real happy with this news, and she pulls back. She has this withdrawn, kind of cringing. This is a big altar piece, and so it's not submissive, but can you see it has that beginnings of human emotion being expressed, and in every other way, you can see that the eyes are slightly slanted. It's a Byzantine style. Simone is still kind of caught into the old Greek Orthodox way of portraying things. But the fact that, she has this expressive face means that even Simone, in spite of all the flatness of the gold, she's expressing human emotion, and that is an entry for the viewer. Also the size. The bigger it is, the more impressive it is. And the more they can relate to it. She's seen with her finger in the prayer book. And if you were a devout person at this time, you had a book of hours with different prayers and psalms in it for each time of the day. And so that is how she's portrayed. So that's Simone, and the words and her response are there. So that was for a cathedral. The next one I'm going to show you is for a chapel, and it's Giotto in Padua, and it's a chapel that was attached actually to a bigger church. It's called the Arena Chapel. There was a Roman arena here, and the people, or the person who gave it, Scriveni, felt he was a little worried about his afterlife. His father was a usurer, a moneylender. He was too. Dante put his father in the circle in the Inferno. So he financed the chapel and the decoration of the chapel, and dedicated the whole cycle to Mary. And Mary's story starts here. Anna and Joachim comes around all the way here. She gets married here, and here is the Annunciation that takes place right across that open altar, and this, what we call triumphant arch. So you people are coming into the church. The altar is here, and the Annunciation takes place. Imagine that. You see it all the time. You see the good news arriving every time you go into this chapel. Here's a close-up view. So here is the angel. She talks to Mary, and then you drop down, and this is Mary visiting Elizabeth, and then the cycle continues, goes all the way around, and flows into the story of Jesus. So, in that this is dedicated to Mary, the angel is in this kind of compartment right on the left side of the chapel, and you can see that he's painted architecture to make it look like, it's really happening up there in the chapel. Here's Mary, and she has her eyes closed. She's in a private place. This is kind of her little dresser or reading room, and she's holding, again, a prayer book most likely, and that's submissive. She's at peace. And I think it's appropriate for this kind of chapel that you come in and you see Mary has accepted what she is to do, and the sense of it is calm, submissive, and again accepting. She is ready to be the new Eve.
Are there efforts to preserve these things?
Yeah, there are a lot more efforts now than there used to be in the beginning of the 20th century. It's newly cleaned about 10, 15 years ago. So it's in pretty good shape. Everybody cleaned everything for the millennium. This artist is very beloved. As a matter of fact, they called him the Angel, which was not his real name, but he, at the age of 14, we think, did this particular manuscript. And it's not just a manuscript, it is plain song. So this is what the priests would read and sing, and then they have this to look at. So in a way, it's a private-public image. It's for the use of all the priests. So the lay people didn't get to see this. This is how he started. He started doing manuscripts, and in the letter R, here is the angel, here's Mary. Fra Angelico was a Dominican friar and beautiful painter, and his faces are sweet. Who could not like some of his work? This is, again, very early. I think it's so clever, though, the way he's balanced the angel, Mary, and then God the Father, and the dove right there. This, I do know, Lynn, it's the beginning of the proper for the Mass for Christmas morning. And I couldn't find the whole script, but it starts out a proper Mass that Isaac did. So the Gregorian chant goes like this: Natus est nobis. So I couldn't find it, but it's somewhere in my slide collection. So it starts right here. All right. So that's Fra Angelico. He's most noted for these beautiful altar pieces. This one in particular was financed by money from Spain. And so it's at the Prado in Madrid, so you have to go and see it there. And here he has reminded you of the reason for Mary. She's very accepting, and the angel has come down with these beautiful wings. Inside is her chamber, and it's swept clean. It is immaculate, an immaculate space, referring to her womb, her whole body itself. And you can see the dove here. God the Father is watching here. And then in the garden is Adam and Eve, and you can see they are being expelled from the Garden of Eden, and she is going to